Members of the church deserve confidentiality. I don't discuss issues of confidentiality of members that come to me with my wife at all times. There are some who are lousy. They take members' matter to the pulpit, and it can be very embarrassing.
That is still following in that same line. A woman is saying also, I don't know, it's the women who are asking these questions now. A woman is saying she and her husband actually started the ministry about 3 years ago. It began as a fellowship. They started, and the ministry is beginning to grow now. And then all of a sudden, she realized that her husband has passworded his phone. She can't access the phone of the husband anymore. And she now decided to meet their husband. And she asked him why he passworded the phone. And the husband shockingly said to her that because he wants to keep the secret of the members very confidential, that's why he had to password his phone against his own wife or whatever the case may be. The question she's asking now is, in marriage, is it right for her husband to password his phone so much so that she can't access the phone because of the same members that she and her husband labor to bring into the church?
Well, let me attempt to correct something here. Number one, the scripture has not given us the basis for joint call into ministry. Now, calls into ministry are individual or individually based. You never find where in scriptures God called two people at the same time. In which case, it could be the husband that God called or the wife in our earlier question or answer to a question. But the order brings in the spouse because they are one. And that should be clearly marked. So when a spouse said, God called us, it should be clearly defined and understood. And that is to say, it should not be seen as a right, but as a privilege to be called. For instance, God called Moses, but Aaron was brought into it. And if you check the scriptures very well, you hear the scripture says God spoke to Moses and Aaron. But that does not give Aaron the right to think that he has assumed the same level with Moses. The same thing with wife. Because there are some wives who are unduly, imposing. Because the husband said, we are called. The same follows if it is the other way around. When the wife, for respect for the man, says, we are called into ministry. It should not be seen as a right, so to say, but, an opportunity, a platform created for them to work together. Now, let's come to the second point. Members of the church, of the ministry, like I've understood, deserve confidentiality of information. Let me sincerely say this. I don't discuss issues of confidentiality of members that come to me with my wife at all times. Vice versa. There are some people who come confide in her. And you can see on their look, they want their matter to be confidential. She doesn't have to discuss with me. And that's where the place of honor in ministry, the responsibility of ministers comes in. There are some who are lousy. They take members' matter to the pulpit. And it can be very embarrassing. It can break the trust of members, even as co-ministers. That sometimes, that's why you see a lot of ministers closing. Because they feel if they discuss their issue with other ministers, the whole world will hear it, either directly or indirectly. In my view, except it is an immoral issue that is being hidden in means of communication like telephone, it should be, protection of members' matter should not be an issue between a couple in ministry.
Okay.
Maybe I may not be as modern, but but I've never gone to be searching my wife's phone to find out what is there, and neither has she been. And that gives us peace because there is a place of trust. So, except if it's an issue of immorality that is being, cloned or covered, that's where the big question. But if it is not, if it's an issue of confidentiality, protection of members, to me, it should be allowed. Of course, there are times when you want to share thoughts together. You want to find out from your wife, look, I'm faced with this issue. What do you think?
Absolutely.
And vice versa. That's all right. And I think, like I said, there are some issues we don't answer directly because of individuals. There are some women whose mouth is not properly guided. You tell them one thing, they go take it to the open or use it to despise the person that comes, to share confidentially with you. So to me, confidentiality is one way to even entrench trust from members in their pastors.
Wow.
If somebody appears or directly told you, please keep this information, to me, I think it will be immaturity to expose or open it up to the public. So I think the couple involved on this matter should just have an understanding and deliberate on it. Look, and if your husband tells you, this is why I'm doing this, you should believe enough. Love believeth all things.
Absolutely.
Except you now discover that it is otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.